Straight from the mouth of a two-time Glory World Champion, I'm going to be teaching you 3 super important tips about that high guard, that Dutch guard. We want to lock this down. We want to make sure that we're able to use it. But if you don't have these 3 things, which many people don't, you're just going to crumble under punching pressure. All right, I'm literally sitting down on the job today because I want to be close to the screen. I want to be able to show you guys as close as I can exactly what makes this guard so effective and the shortfalls that many people have, which make them question, does this really work? Now, if you guys get to the end of these 3 tips and you go, oh my gosh, how did nobody teach me that? How did I not know these amazing tips, which are just going to take me to that next level? If you're thinking that, you definitely want to take my defense course, my Strike Ready defense course, because this is where I go in and I teach you exactly how in something like 50 fights, I've never been KO'd and I've taken such minimal damage to my head, right? Link down below there, I have Strike Ready movement, takedown, of my offense course, and of course, as I just mentioned, my defense course. I would start with the defense course though. So, the Dutch guard, which is also called the high guard. It's called the Dutch guard because when you see the fighters from the Netherlands compete, guys like Ernesto Hoost, Peter Arts, Andy Sauer, Albert Kraus, like so many of these fighters are from that country and they all have that style where they keep their hands very tight. They just eat the shots right off the outside of the gloves. This is why we call it Dutch guard. In boxing, we just call it the high guard. Now, what we're looking to do in this position is not worry about head movement, not worry about parrying and picking off shots, but to simply place the glove to our head and just absorb the impact. Why would we choose to do this as opposed to those other alternatives which I just mentioned? Well, very simple. Yes, moving your head is more ideal than just taking that shell position and eating those shots. But what we have to remember is if you do happen to miss on a slip, let's say somebody catches you and then you try to slip more after that, it's more likely that you're going to get hit and then really hit and KO'd. Whereas when you're in that tight Dutch guard, it's very hard for shots to slip through. So the idea is you should never get hit with massive force that is going to rattle you. But many people, when they're in this shell, beginners especially, they feel like they're getting dummied around. Like, oh, I get my head hurt, I can get headaches from that position. That shouldn't be happening. So the very first tip that I have for you is glove position. What part of the glove is making contact to what part of your head? We need to keep in mind that when we have a striking surface, in terms of impact, offensively, if I have a big striking surface with the same amount of impact, it's spread out. It hurts less. If I have a small striking surface, same amount of impact, it hurts more. More pressure per square inch. Same idea when we put that Dutch guard up. I see some people who say like, oh yeah, okay, you should have your hand in this position. Well, we've got this tiny little portion of the glove that's going to be touching against your head. When you take impact, even that, it all centered right on my eyebrow. What I want to do is I want to take this area of the glove where the gloves are touching. It can go all the way from my fingers right up to that second knuckle. So all of this across here is going to spread evenly from my eyebrow up to the top of my head, right to the hairline. From there, I have so much impact zone there that the shots don't feel like they hurt as much and it's kind of distributed a little bit more evenly. Plus, this position right here is a great way to feel like you're not getting yourself jolted and rattled the same as here. And in this position, you can see right from here that you can still hit me. When I close off like this, it's much harder for the holes to be completely open. So that position right there is very important, and where many people go wrong, I feel, in executing that high guard, the Dutch guard. The next thing which many people do not recognize is what is your neck doing? they put their hands up and I see them taking shots and their head's getting still jostled around because they have not locked the neck up. They have not flexed the neck. Now, very simply, if you do not understand how to do this motion, how to tense the neck, just sitting there, just go down, lay on your back and do a couple little neck crunches and feel how the neck locks up, how the muscles through there are stimulated. And then as you do those, sit yourself up and continue to flex those muscles. It doesn't mean that I need to go like this, but my head's loose and now it's locked. I need to have my neck locked as I have that high guard, otherwise I'm gonna get knocked around. I wanna be getting hit, but not having my head shift. Because if I get shifted this direction, then I get shifted this direction, I'm always gonna be feeling like I am getting jostled around, and we absolutely don't want that. We want the shots coming bam, bam, boom, head locked through that neck stability. And if you find that, oh, your neck strength is not good, you very simply need to go lay on your back, do 20 seconds of these, 20 seconds of these, and 20 seconds ear to shoulder. The whole time your head, the back of your head does not touch the ground. You do that 2 times. 2 minutes. Whew, it burns, even my neck. And I do this fairly frequently. But a 2-minute round of that to make it through without dropping, for me is hard. Not gonna lie. That is difficult, but that neck tension is so important. So we have the hand positioning, the gloved positioning on the head. We have the fact that that neck needs to tense up. Now let's talk about what other muscles need to be tense. Because you might very simply think, okay, I just put the glove up to my head and I take the shot. But you can see right now, if I just put my glove up to my head and I don't put tension through my arm in the right way, as I get hit, this glove is going to be shifting around. And that means if somebody comes and they do maybe a double left hook, the first one hits, the second one, my hand is popped off my head or shifted backwards, so I'm going block, boom, and then I get hit. So we don't want to be flexing as much as we can all the time. We don't want that. That's exhausting. But as impact comes, we want to make sure we have a couple things locked in place. Number one, we need some shoulder tension. Loose shoulder means that when this hand gets hit, it's just going to shift. So I lock my shoulder a little bit. My tricep is almost going to be sucked into my body, and I'm going to hold it in tight to my body. And most importantly, as I get hit, if somebody hits you and they try to drag your hand away from your head after, it shouldn't be possible. They should be hitting you and trying to drag it away, and it's locked there. And this is a test I do on people when I'm trying to teach them the Dutch guard in person. I'll throw a couple punches, I'll hook around their hand, and then I'll try and drag it away. And if I can, I go, oh, your guard would have got broken so easy. So the hand is to the head, it is squeezed tight, the tricep is pulled tight, my shoulder is locked a little bit, so now when I get hit, there's nothing. This hand is not going to shift. And because that hand is not going to shift and I have a barrier between my opponent's punches and my head, then I can sit in there, boom, 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 and absorb those shots with minimal repercussions. If you can take these 3 points that I just gave you and start executing them in your Dutch guard, you're going to feel so much more secure, so much more stable. Now, one of the reasons that many people, when they Dutch guard, feel a little bit too compromised, I think, is they forget about moving their feet. Of course, I could just go completely stationary, like I'm sitting in this chair and just go, But if you can block and have micro movements in your feet, little adjustments, the shots aren't going to hit with 100% power anyway, because you're on the move. Therefore, you're not going to feel like you're getting battered around to the same extent, right? If you just stand there and I start launching shots at you, 100% power, and you just go like this, it's going to feel terrible. So you either have to move your feet or you have to learn to start making these small, subtle adjustments so shots don't just hit straight on, but they kind of ricochet off. That's a whole nother conversation when we're getting really in depth. That's the reason you guys want to do my defense course. But Hopefully those 3 tips I gave you will help you on the Dutch guard, help you feel more confident, and really develop your game. Because once you lock in this guard, your confidence on defense improves. Therefore, you are more willing to step in and be offensive, because the Dutch guard does not just work for defense, it works for offense. As I step forward, I keep that Dutch guard in between each punch, and therefore if somebody counters me, I'm in such a safe position. And you're gonna throw more because of that. You're gonna start letting those combos really fly. And that's what we want to improve the overall striking game. That's it, guys. Thanks for joining. I will see you back here soon for another video.